brought me laughter, and everyone that hears this will surely laugh with me. Iremitide.
My name is Adeleke Adeoti.
I'm Adeoti'S.
I'm an indigenous of Kwara State, even though I grew up in Lagos State predominantly. And I'm a business consultant. And I work for Philips Outsourcing Limited.
I work with the Rose of Sharon Foundation as the accountant.
The song resonated with us as a family very much because it also took us through the journey that we went through as marital couple. My wife and I got married in 2007, October 20th, 2007. And today happens to be our wedding anniversary, 20th of October 2007. We got married at Kena Ministry. We have quite a lot of challenges, in this journey, but God has been there for us. The song also helped us to appreciate the blessing of God, And the song depicts the faithfulness of God in the life of his children. Because all through our journey as married couple, we had those promises. As a matter of fact, different pastors, different prophets, of the living God, will say, you know what, we are praying for you. God has given his word that God has brought fruitfulness to you. God will give you children. We held on to this word. But sometimes it's one thing to hear the promises of God, and it's another thing for you to carry the promises, to bring it to actualization.
Waiting for a child is not something I wish my enemy. I won't even wish them for a year, let alone 14 years. It's been days of, roller coaster. You are happy today, tomorrow you are sad. Because I remember vividly, we had like 7 IVF. We had twins at 12 weeks.
Yeah.
I had miscarriages of both. We had single, we had twins twice. We had single, like 5 pregnancies. I had miscarriages.
For the woman, every month will come out as a month of disappointment, for the woman. When you look at 14 years plus times 12, because 12 months make a year. When you look at all of those things, you will know that every month has its own challenges, at its own. So we saw different doctors. We went for counseling, medical counseling, and even all the scans, all the medical tests, they came out fine. But yet we're still waiting, and nothing seems to be happening.
And anytime I ask the doctor, they will just tell me, well, it's 50-50. They didn't promise 100%. Maybe this, maybe that. I had several surgeries. I had 2 surgeries within 1 week at St. Nicholas.
Now, one thing that I would like to share for everyone to know is how we came about the name for this baby. Her name is Miracle Adeoti. But how did we come about the name Miracle? So when we got the news that she was pregnant, we're happy, we're thanking God, but we continue to pray. Because we've also gone through some miscarriages and failures in time past, you have to continue to hold on to the word of God and be praying and be prophesying the positivity. So there was one day, we now went for scanning. So we have been believing God for the name for the baby. But the name Miracle did not even appear from anywhere. So we went for scanning. So that day, we just asked the doctor, how's the baby faring? And the doctor said, I can see the baby She's sitting down comfortably. She's sitting down comfortably on a cyst. So we're taken aback. Several years that we have done medical tests, there was a time that she went through 2 operations in 1 week. Where tummy, I don't know whether is it tummy or womb, has to be opened in 1 week. You know, there was one that we went through laparoscopy, what do they call it, where they just drill. So it's all about removing fibroid, removing cysts. So the perception that we had before then was like, oh, maybe it's a medical challenge, cyst and fibroid, you know, where the egg will rest. So it's as if the cyst and the fibroid are competing against the fermentation of the egg. So when the doctor told us that, this baby is even sitting on top of the cyst. So I told my wife, I said, is this not the cyst that have been disturbing us? So this baby is sitting on top what has been disturbing us. That day I told my wife, I said, ọmọdé, let me say it in Yoruba the way I told her, that ọmọdé ti borí àwọn ọ̀tá ẹ̀ o. Ó ti ṣẹ́gun àwọn ọ̀tá ẹ̀. So the name Miracle was given at that point. That her name shall be called the Miracle. Because why? What prevented us for years when God was going to answer us, it was that same thing that God made as a footstool for her.
You know, in the church, I don't have many friends. I don't have many because I want to kind of keep my sanity. Me, I'm emotional. If something happens, I'll start crying. It's not as if I'm not happy for anybody that is, that gave birth or something. But I'll be thinking, God, I've been married for how many years, waiting on you. You know, there was a day a friend of mine called me. We school together, and she called and she said, Shade, how are you as a family? I said, fine. So how many kids do you have now? I said, I'm still trusting God. And she said, Koyeko shewo. I said, my sister, it is me. Oh. Because when we were in school back then, I was in a hostel that we have 6 of us in the hostel. 5 of them we traveled to Abuja. I school in Bida. It will be only me. I was the general secretary in Nifes. So I don't go anywhere. It's God, it's fellowship. And and she said, Koyeko shewo. I said, what? I'm waiting. God's ways are not our ways. Challenges from place of work. They want you to come and fill your HMO, and they're asking you, how many kids do you have? And you can't lie. So I'll just feel myself and my husband. And they say, you didn't put your... Sorry. Pray along with us. We are still trusting God.
As a matter of fact, right? Because whenever I'm leaving a job to go to join another company, sometimes is a sign of relief for me, because when you are coming in and you are filling your forms and they are expecting that, how many children? Because it's normal when people see you and they know that you have been married for a while or married, advanced in age, they will say, the children, when they are greeting you on the road, the children. So you don't know whether to say they are fine, you don't know whether to say they are coming, you don't know. There was a friend of mine that I met on the road in front of my house. He was going to church. It was on a Sunday. But we just bumped into each other. It's been years that we saw. We saw last in secondary school. So when he saw me like, the children, I was startled. I couldn't I don't know how to answer him. I was like, because he's also a believer. I believe God for me. And the next thing he said was that, kilo day, that kind of thing. So we have those kind of challenges, when you work in your environment, maybe in your office, and your friends, they are talking about their experiences with the children, how they went out during the weekend and stuff like that. It leaves you in limbo. It just leaves you hanging. You don't know how to contribute. You don't know how to say anything.
In the church of God, I've worked in church office before, and for the 7 years that I spent in church office, I'll always be one of the person that they will ask them to go and do naming ceremony. In fact, when I get there, they will give me the baby to carry. So when I carry the baby, I'll be saying, God, I won't say it out, that God, when will you remember me? When will you remember me? You know, but to a kind of round it up, I just want to thank God because He did it when we least expected it. For me, in the church, when they say people that are trusting God for fruit of them, they should stand up. I don't stand up again. He knows. I don't stand up again. I don't even go out. They say, you know, I'm ordained minister, I'm a deaconess. They will ask us to go out. Me, I'll just be sitting, I'll just be praying. You know, people will now come and be touching me. Sister Shade, I say, just don't worry. Don't worry. Because I felt I've prayed, I've fasted, I've speak to God. I said, God, please, is there anything that I have done? If peradventure I've sinned or I've done something that, just forgive me. Okay, show me what, you know. But in all, whenever we went for prayers, they would tell us, we saw your children, they surround us. I said, surround table. My immediate younger sister, our firstborn, is in foreign level. So I was like, God, what is it? What have I done?
Because at some point, you don't even know whether the prayers are being answered. Because every year, you look up to God, and same thing happens to be the same thing every year. So you don't even know whether the prayers are being answered. You know, sometimes I even ask myself, you know, to ask whether I'm a failure. You know, that kind of a thing. You know, you see people in church, people that got married 5 years after you, 10 years after you, 12 years after you, you know, and they come with their children, you know, and I mean, you are a pastor, you are a child of God, you pray in church, these people respect you, you know, being the fact that they have to be nice towards you. But outside that, you find out that you don't have anything because, you know, because it's normal as human being when you want to compare yourself. So to see that I'm a failure, you know, I don't have a child to show for this, you know. You know, yeah, there are times that I felt disappointed in God, you know. There are several times, several nights, you know, that I had to console my wife, you know. Sometimes she cries, you know, for days, you know. Sometimes when I just say, oh, this person is doing naming ceremony, and I see her countenance, I don't want to go beyond those kind of statements, you know. Sometimes people come to live with us, and from here they get married and they have children, and these are family members that are even not, they are like nieces to my wives. Their moms are like my wife's aunties. So you can see the gap. But when you see them with their children, you feel like, and in some instances, because these challenges sometimes can, as a way of taking hold and getting hold of us at times. Maybe in some instances, some people talk to you anyhow in church. Even if their mind is playing, you feel like it's not your fault. If my firstborn is competing with you in terms of height, you will not open your mouth and talk to me this way.
I want to thank God for my immediate in-laws. That's my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, they never for one day disturbed me. But you know the extended family, those extended family, they are the one that will be calling my husband this, that. But my mother-in-law, she never for one day. She will come around, she will pray with us. Shade, I'm praying for you. Whenever she sees prayer link, she will send to us, you know, prayer pastor, okay, call this pastor for prayer. And one thing that I thank God for him for, he didn't allow the pressure to cover his eyes. There are many people that have waited for a child. By the time the child comes, they won't have good health to take care of that child because they have eaten so many things. He didn't allow anybody to take me anywhere. Somebody came that day and they were like, you should release me for like 4 days, that they want to take me to somewhere. He said no, that he can't release me, that it's only God we want to focus on. If God cannot do it, let nobody. You know, the woman begged and said, she was sorry. There was one man in front of our house here, an elderly man. He called him and he said, I like you. You are a good man. I realized that you and your wife, you don't have any kids yet. And they said, there is a man there. He knows how to do that thing. It's a call that they'll put something inside the call anyway, and your wife will just eat. And
in a cornmeal.
my husband prostrated and said, thank you, Daddy. It's only God that we know. We don't know anybody except God. And when God did it, he brought a wine to this and said, you said it that your God will do it. And there's so many things. So many pastors, so many pastors that will call me, send so amount of money. One even asked me to send like something that I will work for, like my 3-month salary, that he would tell me the date that I will conceive. So I told my husband was like, is it God? I said, I'm not sure. That somebody will say, okay, send this also amount of money. Yeah. I'll tell you the time when you conceive. I said, okay, Pastor, I don't have that kind of money. I don't have. So in so many, so many challenges, so many things that you have just finished a round of IVF and some people are asking you for money and you told them that you are rich. They won't know what you have used money for. I don't, maybe you understand. They don't even know that people that are doing infertility treatment, they spend more than people that are not doing such.
When God blesses you with a child, after getting married,
just naturally like that, you don't know what God has done for you.
Miracle. Because when you go through one IVF treatment, you are going.
We are talking about 2.5, 2 million.
So if you multiply that by 7, you will know.
Aside cancelled one, because when you are doing it and you have something, you have to go and do that one before you come back. So I just want to thank God for what He has done. He gave us this miracle, and throughout our pregnancy, it was just the normal 3 months morning sickness. Aside that, in fact, in my office, there is one assistant, Buki. She's 36. When she got pregnant, she's been in and out of hospital on admission today. And she was like, Ogami, at 45, because I gave her to her at 45. At 45, you are here, just the normal 3 months throwing up. Aside that, no blood pressure, no nothing, as in God gave me peaceful pregnancy during her pregnancy, and I gave it to her, and we are here today.
I was elated. I was happy. I was very, very happy. When we went to the doctor, because we got the news together, and the doctor said that she was pregnant, I asked myself a question, because I still continue to ask myself this question, that it was at the point of my life that I've given up. That's when the miracle came. So like, what did I do special this time around that I've not done before now? It was just the mercy and the favor of God. The day she was born, I was crying. I can see that. I was crying. She was in the hospital, and I didn't know what the nurses told me to go and bring some stuff. When we were preparing to go to the hospital, there were some things that she was telling me, maybe because I felt that as a man, I don't need to understand those things. She was telling me that this is a towel, this is this, this is that. I just discarded them, but I didn't. So when she put to bed, the nurses were asking me those things. I didn't know which was which. So I just quickly ran home, and I carried everything that we have bought from the beginning to say, let me carry everything to the hospital. Let the nurses be picking what they want, because I never understood the names of these things. So I called my mom. When I called my mom, because I was crying. So my mom said, what happened to Folashade? I said, no, that she put to bed. My mom began to cry. The tears of joy. Even in my in-laws, they were crying tears of joy. One of the things that also confirmed that God was actually in agreement with us, naming the lady, the girl Miracle, was I got a call from my friend in the US that same evening. And he said that he has been praying for God for years. For over 12, 13 years, he has been praying that God, please answer this family. He told me that because you're my friend, I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you. But you know, it's something that I have a burden for you, but I cannot tell you. So he was praying. And he said, you know what? Everything that you are going to need for the naming of the baby, all the ceremony, I've instructed my wife. You will not pay a dime. So I went to go and look at the baby again where she was sleeping. I started asking myself, what kind of a child is this? You know, God took control of everything, or as glorious as a naming ceremony was. We didn't pay a kobo. This, my brother that God used, maybe I should, if I'm privileged to mention his name, you know, brother Sheye Adeyemi and his wife, sister Tino Adeyemi, they be so wonderful, you know, and, you know, during the naming ceremony proper, we got all manner. How many months did we use to finish our diapers?
Like 8-9 months.
8-9 months. I never bought one. I didn't even know how much they sell diapers. It's now that I'm telling her that, see, you have to be managing these diapers. So that's just it. One of the things I would like to say to people that are going through that season of waiting on the Lord is to completely trust in the Lord. Completely trust in the Lord. Because there will always be challenges. You know, some of these challenges are being brought with good intentions. Because nobody actually knows what you are going through except you yourself and God. So it's to trust in the Lord. Some people will even want to take advantage of the situation. To say, oh, don't worry, send money, send 200,000 naira. One pastor will pray for you. That pastor will pray for you. God is God. Nobody is God. God is God. So to trust in the Lord and wait on the Lord. The issue she mentioned about one of our street men who came to me and said, oh, because we had some neighbors who got married while they were staying here in this compound, and you know, they're giving birth to 2-3 children. So even in the area when you are going out and people are looking at you, even if they are thinking of something else, your mind is saying they are looking at you because of you don't have children and all of those things. So I told the man, I said, you know what? I'm not saying that I'm a saint though. All through my life, I know that I have committed 1 or 2 sins that God was not happy with. I don't want to add this one to it. That's what I told the man. No, I know I have problems, but this one, I don't want to add to it. I kept on telling my wife then that I prefer to meet God without any child, and for me to tell God and ask him why. You know, and you know, sometimes when we go through this kind of situations, I also strongly believe that God positions us in such a way that he puts people around us that may be going through similar situation. And when you look at their faith in God, it kind of strengthens you as a person. You know, when I look at Pastor Niyi Ajibola, how God has answered him, you know, when I look at some men of God, how they waited and God eventually answered them, it kind of strengthens you as a person, for you to know that if this man can go through it and he can come out of it, I too will go through it and I will. So I want to encourage all the married couples waiting on the Lord that God will do it at his timing. Don't go to seek help from Egypt. Don't go to seek help from Egypt. There was one woman, I've forgotten, that they sent a message to me and they said that, oh, we should come and pray. And that, so I thought it was normal prayer. Say, we can pray now, anybody can pray. But there was now a statement that came forth before we even went there that he said that, but if you pray and the whole thing comes to pass. Shema
Shema
wa
Dupe.
dupe.
Oh,
So and I had to ask, what do you mean that Shema wa dupe? Dupe to who now? Is it to the person or to God? That if it is a human being, no. All my praise belongs to God. It's not to human being. You know? So these kind of challenges, people should, because we don't want to go and get a child where today they will now tell you after the child is 1 year old, you have to come and do this thing, or don't wear red clothes for the child, don't wear black clothes for the child, when the child is 1 year 6 months, right? You have to come and do Sarah. You have to come and all those kind of things. There's nothing that the devil gives that doesn't come with body. It's only God that can give you, and you know it's with peace of mind. So we always have that position. So I want to encourage couples, please wait on the Lord. Wait on the Lord. You've waited for so long. So kukuma wait now and let God answer you. And I pray that God Almighty will touch every family listening to us. And God will make your joy complete in Jesus' name.
Ire mi ti dé o, ire mi ti dé, ire wọlé tọ̀ mí.